is Landed in Leadership and Enlightenment, a podcast where the guests are exceptional humans that have faced their fears to crest into their best selves, growing into a way they can help their communities, creating opportunities, and sharing their secrets and their tips that they learned along the way. Without further ado, here we are, my friends. Have a great time today and enjoy Leadership and Enlightenment. Hey, brother, I know the name of your company is IBL. What does it stand for?
Yeah, IBL Events stands for Idaho Business League. Idaho Business League was started in 1990 with the premise of doing networking for businesses and companies here in the Treasure Valley, which is Boise, Idaho.
Oh, cool. Did you grow up in Boise too?
I did. I grew up in Boise until junior high, and then my parents moved me up north to a small town called Kuski, Idaho.
Oh, man. We're going to have to set that up a little bit. Just so everybody knows, Nick and I met recently at a cab in Boise, Idaho, and just something struck me about Nick. He's got that light in him. It expands through the way he has conversations with people around him. And really, man, you were like the glue for the week as far as I was concerned. Just everything that you did seemed to fit right. And you told me this story that just, it warmed my heart because you didn't start in this industry. You actually started somewhere else. Tell everybody about where that started and how you got into this.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild story. And my background and my degree is in information systems. So I've got a computer background, kind of all through my career, kind of followed in whether it was from the entrepreneurial spirit of starting businesses, still was on the tech side. And then worked for a large tech corporation for a long time. And my wife, who was involved in the business, she started working there in 2004, and she came, we were talking, and she's like, "Hey, I really would like to purchase this company." And I said, "I think that's a great plan. And this could you be your baby and take it to another level." And we tried in 2010 to purchase the company and was unsuccessful, but we didn't give up, and we were able to purchase it in 2013. And at the time, there was only 6 trade shows, and she wanted to not focus on the networking, but actually events, and take events to another level, in which she did. She did an amazing job bringing on, within 2 years, had 14 trade shows.
Oh, wow.
Really capitalized on the market and did a phenomenal job. But I wasn't involved. This was kind of her baby and her team. And by the way, it was a really, really small team. It was only 2 people.
How they
And
all start, right?
right. And it was kind of going through my story was I thought I was going to be a corporate guy my whole life, and had a great time in my corporate job. And but things happen for a reason. And I thought I was, happy. But what happened in a kind of a crazy way was her mom unfortunately got sick with
Oh,
cancer again, and
wow.
had some health issues. And she wanted more freedom to be able to take care of her mom or go visit her mom. And she didn't have the flexibility to just leave the job.
Hmm.
And we had no one else to kind of run the business. And so I just told her, "Hey, let me just drop what I have, and I'll come over and help you out." And that was the right thing to do. And um, to the surprise, I didn't think I was going to be leaving Micron, and Micron didn't think I was going to be leaving them. Sorry, that was the tech company, but they actually kept me on as a consultant for a while, and because we all thought I was going to come back. And the good news is, her mom she went into remission. She's
Oh,
cancer
good.
free to this day, still with
Awesome.
us to this day. She's an amazing woman, a woman herself. But I was at IBL, and Dean, as you and I talked before, this is kind of a crazy thing because about 2020, I was thinking about, this would be a good time to go back to corporate world. I was really enjoying my time in the event space, keeping things going and growing it. We had some ideas with growth. And then, as you know, COVID happened.
It's a
So
big story, man, for all of us when you get to that spot. I think
yeah.
what really stood out to me when you were kind of sharing everything with us on site is like looking at it from the outside of the pickle jar, for example, is like we don't really see where we are and why this is happening. But what I noticed was that you were following an instinct inside of you. And it seemed like the skill set of your previous employment really aligned you super well to take your company, your family's company, and take that next step. But to walk into somebody else's shoes in a relationship, I mean, this to me is like the magnifying glass and how I've seen, your leadership shine through. And that's what this podcast is about is honestly like there's a spark inside of us for some reason that we do what we do because it was what we were told to do for somehow and way. I mean, when you were taking it over, you had to be going emotionally through this struggle of like, I didn't prepare for this. I did prepare for that, but how does this all fit? What kind of some of the thoughts you were dealing with emotionally when you were going through this transition?
Yeah, and to be completely honest, very first emotion was one that wasn't uh, kind of an maybe it was natural to a lot of people, but all I could think about was the money. And I was like,
Hmm.
man, what am I doing? Like, and I was so
Hmm.
afraid of from leaving a very comfortable job and worrying about like what's going to happen from a financial standpoint, even though making the right decision from a family's standpoint, that was the first emotion was all about money. And, looking back now, um, I've learned a lot and I'm still learning every single day.
As we
But
do.
that is where uh once I let that go and didn't fight, everything started happening for again, just coming together. And because and you know this better than anybody, we're in the hospitality business. We're in the people business. And when we start focusing on people themselves and not chasing a dollar,
Yeah.
business naturally happens.
Yeah.
S-
Yeah. It's
So,
true.
for-
I
yeah,
I use this term called referral marketing. And I realized a few years back that building relationships is the energy that really catalyzes everything else after that. And yeah, any entrepreneur or business owner like yourself, chief operating officer and owner, is going to go through this first year or second year kind of a phase where we feel like we're walking through the desert and then you find the path and then there's the water and you kind of get around that third or fourth year and things are clicking, but there's always this place that we have to kind of gather ourselves around again. Like, is there really ever a place where we've made it? Like, did you create enough income? Like, was there enough employees? I think it's just a living, breathing thing that we become a part of, and we're like a cog in a wheel, and we have these operational decisions on a daily basis to wake up and be our best self, whatever that is, and not try and get too far past it to like see the money as the replacement. I mean, like myself as well. When I replaced my last income working for myself, yeah, there was a milestone, but I hadn't accomplished anything in my mind. And it
right.
just started becoming kind of like the background noise where I could see in front of me there was this place that I was evolving into. And again, I kind of get hokey using these words like energy and vibration, things like that. But you can use practical terms. Like even when I invested myself into Toastmasters and learned how to speak in public, there was a process of going from where this was to where I ended up being. And even though I knew in the first speech I was perfect in my mind, so much growth had to happen over the next 5 years for me to actually run the club and be a president. And you're in that situation now. You're in charge of all these employees and you wake up every day and ensure that you're setting this motion in the ocean for them to work behind. And that's really where I think this light starts to shine. How do you do that? What are some of the techniques you use to stimulate your team and to create a momentum in their mindsets that takes your customer service and hospitality to that next level?
It really starts with this is going to sound almost selfish in a way, but it starts with yourself, meaning I have to take care of me before I could take care of others. And,
Mhm.
having that balance, with me and that I'm a very positive person. And sometimes that, rubs people the wrong way as well. But I also choose to be that way. So I wake up in the morning. The very first thing I say when I wake up is, I'm going to have a great day. Right.
Yeah.
And that manifestation in what I want, it's not that I don't have issues that pop up on a daily basis, but it's really that mindset of how I'm going to tackle those issues. And so by saying that when I wake up in the morning, it allows me to take on those challenges a little bit easier, and and that allows me to help other people. So once I have that balance on myself, uh, I'm a servant leader. It's all about helping others. And whether it's a customer, an employee, my family, it's what can I do for you? And once I break that down and see how we could, great things happen, right? And we're able
Yeah.
to overcome a lot. And that communication and having that open communication and spreading that light, right? And that is so important, and it's very contagious, but the other way could be just as contagious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Think about the bad thoughts. Getting in front of something that I learned quickly about myself was, again, it was a COVID moment. Actually, COVID turned out to be a blessing because it's the reason why I'm still here in the events world. Um, but it also taught me, what am I feeding myself, right? I realized the news was giving me anxiety, and I was feeding, like, why was I feeding myself that, right?
Yeah.
And I had to step away, and it wasn't until that moment where it forced me to kind of step away from a lot of that noise. Um, and we talked.
What do you surround yourself what do you surround yourself with now? What kind of media do you surround yourself with?
Not a lot, to be honest,
Mm.
right? Even from, the news, I get my news, just from, feeds, more of,
Sure.
like, instead of video,
Yep.
and and it's not that it's bad, but you gotta, from my standpoint is, you got to feed what you want, right?
Yeah.
Because it could go down a rabbit hole really quick,
Yeah.
and especially with technology changing left and right, but emotional behaviors could be,
Yeah.
could be adjusted
Well,
quickly. So
you're the mirror, right? I mean, you mirror
okay.
out everything that you're taking in. And this is kind of one of those wisdom moments in the conversation that I love to point out is like, that's for you, it's a given.
Mhm.
But to the idea of learning into leadership, and I don't think leadership is something you're born with. I think it really is a separation of realizing you're not managing a situation, but you're actually guiding through the example that you set forth. And you're shining this light in a non codependent standpoint. That's really where, for me, it all kind of breaks down. As I was diagnosed a few years back, 7 years ago, that I was codependent. Like everything in my world had to happen a certain way for me to feel comfortable. And so I was managing my teams that way too. And that does not allow that light to grow through. And when I asked, like, how should I do it? The representative that was helping me, she said, just shine your light and let other people follow it. And that just seemed so ridiculous at that time because I didn't understand the power of what that meant. But you just eloquently put that into words so well, is because you're taking responsibility for the light that you're shining every day and realizing like it's not affected by others, you're affecting others. And
Yeah.
that's where this crest of leadership to me comes from. And enlightened leadership is that isn't something you're thinking about. That's naturally, your flow. So tell us, how does this work into your end result? You obviously, my curiosity is the fact that you have this huge events team that you're dealing with and you're traveling a lot and you're putting together these shows under high pressure situations. I mean, like, they're literally Super Bowls every day in your world. And what do you think lets you stand apart knowing that, your team is bonded around you like this?
Yeah, it's the mirror is a great example, right? We almost, in that essence, we want to be a reflection of, it's a cliche, it's been used a lot, but the golden rule is we want to be treated and we want to treat others on how we want to be treated, right?
Yeah, it's
And so
true.
when it comes down to it is uh, we want our events, and there's so many people that are involved with putting on an event, and that could be the hotel, that could be the production team, that could be, even our own team, and then obviously our clients, the sponsors, the exhibitors. Uh, we want to treat everyone with that white glove experience, but it's more than just white glove. We want them to feel like we're part of the team, and so we do everything we can to have that family atmosphere. And it doesn't click with everybody. But I will tell you, if we go above and beyond on that customer service and we deliver, so you have to deliver. You can't just sit,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
can't sit. You have to deliver. And if you're able to deliver and bring that, that just doesn't become an event. It becomes an experience, and an experience becomes a memory.
I
And what do
love that.
those things stay with us, right? As we go down in life, we remember those memories. And
Yes,
that's
sir.
what we're trying to create. And that's what's different. We're not doing anything different than anybody else in terms of producing an event, but we are walking with those memories. But the memories are not just the event itself, it's the people we're interacting with,
Yeah.
the sponsors that are interacting with their
Yeah.
prospective clients. We want to make sure that's all being a part of that conversation, because ultimately that's what matters at the end of the day in our world.
Oh, yeah.
And we live and breathe that during our
Yeah.
planning meetings, during the actual meeting, and after the fact. We have some of the best relationships with clients that we've worked with in the past, and we still have those communications in relationships. That's what's about. So
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and you bring that forward. I mean, there's obviously a reason why you're so baked into the Chamber of Commerce of Boise and they love you so much. Is literally you bring this spirit to that region and beyond. And so I'm excited for anybody that could find a reason why they want to contact Nick in the real near future, if not for the fact to just get to know his management style and his leadership style, because his team is thriving and it's because of him and his family and the way that they approach life. Nick, it's been great talking today, my friend. Thanks for spending
yeah,
some time with us.
thanks, Dino.
Well, there we go. Another amazing example of the universe working in its magnificent way today. Appreciate you showing up and look forward to seeing you again at Leadership and Enlightenment.